All right, so 2025 is basically finished. Today is January 31st, and it's the last day. Tomorrow it's going to be 2026, and these are 5 things that I've learned as a recruiter here in Baltimore. All right, lesson number 1 is that you can't win every single parent you talk to. And that's like the first thing, that's the first person we normally talk to whenever we're calling you guys, right? We get the list from your schools, and the first number that's in there is your parents, whether it's mom or dad, and sometimes they'll be very helpful. They're like, hey, I don't know what team he's doing, so here, give him a call. He's a senior. I don't really know what he's trying to do. He says he's going to college, but I don't have the money for college, so why don't you go talk to him, right? And then on the flip side, you get parents that are like, my kids will never join the military. I don't like who's in office. I don't like this. I don't like that. My dad, their granddad had a bad experience. I know somebody who's in the military and they said the Marines just suck, right? And I'm like, okay, why, right? And I would kind of go over, like, try to get to know, like, what some of the reasons why they disagree about the military. And ultimately, I will get to a point where I feel like I'm just talking to a wall. And that's it. You can't win all of them. So I guess you just move on to the next, right? Lesson number 2 is that everything you see in social media isn't always truthful, right? A lot of the kids that we do end up coming to the office and doing some research. They'll research in TikTok, they'll research in YouTube, they'll research and like everything else, but like, actually making sure that these are facts. Some of them even go to Reddit and talk to like Marines, or I don't even know if they're Marines or not, and they'll listen to some of the old things that they say, and I'm like, bro, it takes like 2 seconds to go to Google, Chat GPT, all these AI tools are like available to you guys, right? And it's so easy to fact check the things that we say to you. And realistically for us, it makes our job 100 times harder saying things that are untruthful, because like once you guys find out that it's not true, like no one likes being lied to. I don't like being lied to. So I'm like, why tell you guys something completely different, right? And have it become like a 360 deal. Like, oh, you told me I can get my college fully paid for if I do the reserves. I didn't say that, right? I said that you can get your college paid for while you're in the reserves and you do XYZ things to earn your active duty days, and then in return we'll get your college fully paid for, because the active duty guys will get the full tuition assistance and you guys won't, and you would have to work for it, right? And sometimes they're like, doesn't make sense. I think you're just lying. Right, okay. Another thing too that people would say is that you guys are the least funded branch, so I'm not gonna get paid the same. And when you guys say that the Marines get paid the same as any other branches, yeah, I think that's lies. And I always go back to like, I do these things like next to my computer, and I will pull it up and I'll show them. Does it anywhere in here say that it's the Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, whatever other branches that there is, right? Does it say that to a specific one? No, it doesn't. You know what it says? The military pay chart, because it's paid the same across the board. And sometimes it does differ in pay, because for me as a recruiter, I get special duty pay for doing a special duty assignment, right? So I get paid more than an E6 who's been in the Marine Corps for 9 years than someone who isn't doing recruiting duty, right? That's why it's different sometimes. But when you do try to explain that to people, they're like, I don't get it. I think you're lying, dog. And I'm just like, all right, I guess so. Probably like another thing would be the Marine Corps is going to send you straight to jail, to war, to this, right? Straight to jail, right away. After you finish boot camp, straight to Iraq. After you finish boot camp, straight to Ukraine. It's crazy. all the things that I hear as a recruiter here. So yeah, not everything you see in social media is truthful. And like I said, come talk to us. We can go over everything, all the misconceptions that you have. And if it's not enough, brother, look it up on Google. Look it up on your chat GPT. Look it up on Gemini. I don't know. Look it up. Do your research, right? Before coming in, we asked you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to have questions ready for us so that we can answer them. Because not only that this helps us figure out some of the things that's like important for you, it just shows us like, okay, look, Brody doesn't know that the military is paid the same. Oh, Brody doesn't know that if he picks a non-combative job that he's probably less likely to go into combat. If you want to do infantry, then you hate to see it, right? That's kind of like the thing. And sometimes it gets a little bit annoying having to explain these things, because it's like, bro, if you just come just a little bit prepared to sit down with me, it'd be a little bit easier. But yeah, I'll make it quick for the third one, because it's pretty simple. The very pro-America guys and girls you talk to are never gonna join. Some of them will. But whenever you do talk to these kids who are like God, country, and core, and all these other things, right? God, country, and serving my country. Granddad serve, brother serve, and you know what? Not me. Okay. So sometimes you do get those people that are like, they'll come up to you, they want to get t-shirts, they want to do the pull-ups, they want to do everything else that's military related, right? They'll dress up like the military, they'll do they'll do the airsoft thing, and then they'll do like, they're super kitted out. But the military is not for me, bro. Like it's just nice to act like you guys sometimes. They probably do more military stuff than I do, right? Because I work in the aviation field, and they're like out here going CQBing it in like the weekend and stuff like that. But they'll never join. So that's one thing, is that you would talk to some of these kids who are very pro-America, and ultimately they will never join. So, and that's number 3 for y'all. So, all right, this number 4 should probably be higher. But some kids will just never pass the ASVAB. My very first year here as a recruiter, I had a few kids who are like super motivated to join the Marines, but they just couldn't pass the ASVAB. And I'm like, you passed medically. What happened? Like, do you have some learning disability that I don't know? And time and time they'll tell me, I've been studying, I've been doing this, I've been doing all the ASVAB prep. I even have the ASVAB for dummies. But they will never pass. And your boss, my boss, will always be on you to be like, why are you still working him or her? Never gonna pass the ASVAB, bro. Sometimes they do, but just not in your branch. And I kind of gave a few of them to the Army because they have this program, even in the Navy, where they'll accept low test takers, and they'll send them to boot camp or summer camp for, I don't want to say dummies, but for people who can't pass the ASVAB. And there's a little bit of a stip that comes with that. And I won't speak on it because I don't want to bash any of the other branches, that do go into that. And if you're watching this and you went to that program, good on you, right? You're in the military. You get the same benefits as I do. So cool. But yeah, some of them will never pass, and it is what it is. And there's going to be a time where you're just like, yo, big dog, I think you should look into a different branch, because I don't think you can meet the 31 that I ask for. And 31 is like the minimum, right? And it's kind of insane that some people just can't get to 31. So I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. So I guess the last one would be knowing when to stop talking to certain kids because you're just not going to get anywhere. And I'm probably going to get a whole lot of like, why don't you just follow up 30, 60, 90 days, right? But as a recruiter, you guys are going to deal with a lot of the kids that will either too young to join, so they're not 18, so they can't sign their paperwork, so they'll have to wait for their parents to like eventually agree to the military. Sometimes they do end up coming around, right? Sometimes they turn 18, they're like, yeah, I'm signing. I don't care what they say, I'm gonna sign because I know this is what's best for me. Or sometimes you get the kids who are like very stuck into going to college, which college is not a bad thing. I am pro college. That's what I did first. So I'm 100% with you guys into, yes, go to college. But at least go to college and have a decent plan, right? Because many times we talk to a lot of the kids, they're like, hey, I'm going to college. I don't need the military. But then you talk to their counselors. Like, yeah, dude, he is below 2.0 and probably not going to get into like a pretty decent college. And he's just probably going to go to CCBC, which is CCBC is not a bad route. Like if you just don't have the funds and you don't come from a super rich family, you're not from Calvert Hall, you're not from Loyola, you're not from the private schools or whatever it is, right? Yeah, CCBC is a good route. You can get your college paid for half the price to get your gen eds and then transfer into Towson, not pay so much for just being there, right? Or you just have the kids who, I guess, will continue dragging on the process, saying, yeah, I'll do this eventually. It's just not the right time for me. My girlfriend says that I can't join. I actually have one of my guys that was supposed to join back out on me in like the last week, and he's like, yeah, nah, dude, my parents are not really agreeing with this. And, my girl says that I can't join, so I'm gonna just stay here in Maryland. You get those people, so you gotta know when to stop. You're gonna come to a point where you've been talking to this kid for over 6 months, over a year, over 2 years, and I'm about to leave, and I'm like, dude, you're never gonna do this, and it's fine. And sometimes I wish they would just say, dude, stop calling me. Stop following with me. Like, I don't want to do it. So, you know what I mean? Like, you got to know when to stop. So, these are 5 things that I've learned as a recruiter here in Baltimore. Some of you guys can relate. Some of you guys are like, well, I didn't know you guys go to all these trouble recruiting people. I thought it was just easy. It's only 2 people that you got to recruit every month. How difficult is that? Well, come volunteer. Come get histed and come here and then start talking nice to us about recruiting should be very easy if you just, do X, Y, Z. Come here, So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at this. And it's the last day of 2025. And hopefully you guys get some value out of this video. It is the first video, so if it looks kind of awky and I look nervous. It is what it is. I'll get better at doing this. But I think I could make more videos about like the process, how to join, what you need to do to be able to be, qualified for the military. What are some of the things you could be doing now to prepare yourself? Like, hey, I'm 15, I always want to do the military. What are some of the things I could do so that when I do become eligible, that I'm prepared? So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at this. And if you guys have any questions, just comment down below the questions you guys have for me. And then we'll go on from there. But I'll see you guys in the next one.